Fuse, to join or blend things together by melting. The metals were fused to create a stronger alloy. Gaily, in a cheerful and lively manner. They danced gaily at the celebration. Galaxy, a vast system of stars, gas, and dust in space. The Milky Way is our galaxy. Gaol, an alternative spelling for jail, a place of confinement. He was sent to gaol for his crimes. Gape, to open one's mouth wide, often due to astonishment. The children gaped in awe at the fireworks. Garment, an item of clothing. She designed a beautiful garment for the fashion show. Gaudy, flashy, showy, and excessively bright or colorful. The gaudy decorations overwhelmed the room. Gauge, a measuring instrument or device. The gauge indicated the temperature in the room. Gaunt, extremely thin and bony, often due to suffering or illness. His gaunt appearance was a result of malnutrition. Gender, the classification of being male or female. Gender equality is an important social issue. Generalize, to make a general statement or conclusion. It's not accurate to generalize about all teenagers. Generate, to produce or create something. The wind turbines generate electricity. Generic, not specific, applicable to a whole class or group. The store sells generic brands as well as name brands. Genial, friendly, cheerful, and pleasant. His genial personality made everyone feel welcome. Geology, the science that studies the Earth's physical structure. Geology explores the Earth's geological processes. Geometry, the branch of mathematics dealing with shapes and sizes. Geometry involves the study of angles and polygons. Germ, a microorganism that can cause disease. Wash your hands to prevent the spread of germs. Ghastly, extremely unpleasant or shocking. The accident scene was a ghastly sight. Gigantic, extremely large and massive. The elephant was truly gigantic in size. Giggle, to laugh in a light and playful manner. The children couldn't help but giggle. Gist, the main point or essence of something. She summarized the gist of the story. Credible, a large mass of ice that moved slowly. The eyewitness was considered credible by the investigators. Glamour, attractive beauty or charm. The actress had an aura of glamour. Gland, an organ in the body that produces substances like hormones. The thyroid gland regulates metabolism. Glare, an intense and harsh, blinding light. The glare of the sun made it hard to see. Gleam, a small, brief flash of light. The diamond had a beautiful gleam. Glide, to move smoothly and effortlessly. The skater could glide gracefully on the ice. Glimmer, a faint, flickering light. The stars began to glimmer in the night sky. Glimpse, a brief and quick view or glance. He caught a glimpse of the rare bird. Glitter, to shine with a sparkling or shimmering light. Her dress glittered with sequins. Globe, a spherical representation of the Earth. They studied countries on a globe. Gloomy, dark, dim, and lacking in brightness. The weather turned gloomy with heavy clouds. Gloss, a shiny or reflective surface. The car's paint had a glossy finish. Glossary, a list of terms and their definitions, often in a book. The textbook includes a glossary of key terms. Goad, to provoke or annoy someone to stimulate action. He goaded his friend into taking a dare. Gradual, happening slowly over a period of time. The change in temperature was gradual. Granary, a building for storing grain or other food. The granary was filled with sacks of wheat. Granular, composed. Graph, a diagram that shows data or relationships. The graph displayed the growth of the company. Graphic, pertaining to visual art, images, or design. The magazine featured graphic illustrations. Grate, a framework of metal bars used for cooking or heating. She placed the pot on the grate to boil water. Gratuity, a tip or bonus payment for services. The waiter received a generous gratuity. Gravel, small, loose stones used for road surfaces. The gravel path led to the beach. Gravity, the force that attracts two objects toward each other. Gravity keeps us grounded on Earth. Graze, to feed on growing grass in a field. The cows grazed peacefully in the meadow. Grid, a pattern of intersecting horizontal and vertical lines. The city streets formed a grid. Grieve, to feel deep sadness or sorrow. They grieved the loss of their loved one. Grim, very serious, harsh, or stern in appearance. His expression turned grim as he heard the news. Grin, to smile broadly, often showing teeth. He couldn't help but grin at the funny joke. Grind, to reduce something to small particles. By crushing or rubbing, she had to grind coffee beans for her morning brew. Grit, small, hard particles of sand or stone. The grit on the road made driving difficult. Groan, to make a low, mournful sound, often due to pain. The injured man let out a groan. Grope, to search blindly or uncertainly with the hands. She groped in the dark for the light switch. Growl, to make a low, threatening sound, like an angry animal. The dog began to growl at the intruder. Grumble, to complain or express discontent in a low voice. He would often grumble about his long commute. Guideline, a set of rules or principles to follow. The guidelines helped ensure safety in the workplace. Guild, an association of people with a common interest or profession. The blacksmiths formed a guild to protect their trade. Gush, to flow out suddenly and forcefully. Water gushed from the broken pipe. Gust, a brief, strong burst of wind. A gust of wind blew the hat off his head. Gymnasium, a large room or building equipped for physical exercise. They trained in the gymnasium to prepare for the competition. Halt, to come to a stop or pause. The traffic came to a halt due to the accident. Handbook, a concise reference book with information and instructions. The employee handbook provides guidelines for new hires. Handicap, a disadvantage that makes achievement more difficult. His physical handicap didn't deter his determination. Haphazard, lacking a clear order or plan, random. The items were arranged in a haphazard manner. Harass, to persistently bother or torment someone. She filed a complaint against her harasser. Harbor, a place where ships are sheltered from storms. The harbor was bustling with fishing boats. Hardy, strong and able to endure difficult conditions. These plants are hardy and can survive harsh winters. Harness, to control or use a resource or power for a purpose. They harness the wind to generate electricity. Haste, excessive speed or urgency in action. He completed the task in haste and made mistakes. Hasty, done with excessive speed or without careful thought. A hasty decision often leads to regrets. Hatch, to emerge from an egg or to bring a plan into action. The chicks will hatch from their eggs soon. Haven, a place of safety or refuge. The remote cabin served as a haven for the hikers. Havoc, widespread destruction and chaos. The storm wreaked havoc on the coastal town. Hazard, a dangerous situation or risk. Smoking is a hazard to your health. Hazardous, involving risk or danger. The chemicals in the lab are hazardous if mishandled. Headstrong, determined to have one's own way, stubborn. His headstrong nature made compromise difficult. Heap, a pile of objects placed on top of each other. There was a heap of clothes on the bed. Heave, to lift or haul something heavy with effort. They had to heave the boulder out of the way. Hectic, full of activity, excitement, or confusion. Her hectic schedule left little time for relaxation. Hedge, a fence or boundary formed by a dense row of shrubs. The hedge marked the edge of the garden. Heighten, to make something more intense or increase its level. The spices will heighten the flavor of the dish. Hemisphere, half of the earth, divided by the equator. The northern hemisphere experiences winter in December. Hence, for this reason, therefore, he was feeling unwell, hence, he stayed home. Henceforth, from this point forward, in the future, henceforth, all employees must clock in using the new system. Herd, a group of animals, especially cattle or sheep. The herd of cattle grazed in the field. Hereditary, passed down from one's ancestors or family. Hereditary traits can be observed in generations. Heritage, cultural, historical, or natural possessions passed down. Preserving our cultural heritage is important. Hierarchy, a system of ranking, or organizing in order of importance. The company has a clear hierarchy of management. Highlight, to emphasize or make prominent. The speaker will highlight the key points of the presentation. Hijack, to illegally take control of a vehicle, often by force. The hijackers took over the plane. Hilarious, extremely funny and causing laughter. The comedy show was so hilarious that everyone was in stitches. Hinder, to create obstacles or slow down progress. Lack of funding may hinder the project's success. Hinge, a jointed device on which a door, gate, or lid swings. The squeaky hinge needed some oil. Historian, a person who studies and writes about history. The historian wrote. Historic, significant or important in history. The signing of the treaty was a historic event. Hitchhike, to travel by getting rides from passing vehicles. He decided to hitchhike across the country. Hitherto, until now, up to this time, hitherto, the issue had not been addressed. Hoist, to lift or raise something, often with a mechanical device. They used a crane to hoist the heavy machinery. Hobo, a large bag or suitcase used for carrying items. She packed all her belongings in a holdall. Holocaust, the systematic mass killing of people, especially Jews, by the Nazis during World War II. The Holocaust is a dark chapter in human history. Homestay, accommodation where travelers stay with a local family. They chose a homestay to experience local culture. Homogeneous, consisting of the same or similar parts. The mixture appeared homogeneous in texture. Horizon, the apparent line where the earth meets the sky. The sun dipped below the horizon at sunset. Horticulture, the art and science of gardening and cultivating plants. She studied horticulture to become a skilled gardener. Hound, a type of hunting dog. Or to relentlessly pursue or nag someone, the hound chased after the scent of the fox. Hover, to remain suspended in the air, often by flapping wings. The helicopter can hover in one spot. Howl, to make a loud, prolonged cry like a wolf or dog. The wolves began to howl in the distance. Hubbub, a noisy and chaotic situation or commotion. The hubbub in the market was overwhelming. Huddle, to gather closely together. Often for warmth or discussion, the team huddled to plan their strategy. Humdrum, dull, monotonous, and lacking excitement. His daily routine was quite humdrum. Humidity, the amount of moisture or water vapor in the air. High humidity makes the air feel sticky. Hurl, to throw something with force and violence. He angrily hurled the ball across the field. Hydrogen, a chemical element with the symbol H. The lightest and most abundant element in the universe, hydrogen is used as fuel in some vehicles. Hygiene, the practice of maintaining cleanliness and health. Good personal hygiene is essential to prevent illness. Hypothesis, a proposed explanation based on limited evidence. Their hypothesis was that plants need sunlight to grow. Ideal, the perfect or most desirable state or situation. Finding the ideal candidate for the job is challenging. Identification, the act of proving or recognizing who or what someone or something is. You'll need to show identification to enter the building. Ideology, a system of beliefs, values, or ideas, often political. Their ideology shaped their approach to governance. Idiom, a phrase or expression with a meaning different from its literal interpretation. Kick the bucket is an English idiom for to die. Idle, not active or in use, lazy or unoccupied. He spent the afternoon in idle conversation. Ignite, to cause to catch fire or start burning. She used a match to ignite the campfire. Ignorance, lack of knowledge or awareness about something. Ignorance of the law is not an excuse. Illiterate, unable to read or write. The campaign aimed to reduce illiteracy in rural areas. Illuminate, to light up or make clear and understandable. The lanterns will illuminate the path in the dark. Illustrate, to provide visual examples or clarify with images. The diagram will help illustrate the process. Imaginative, creative and full of innovative ideas. The children's book was imaginative and whimsical. Imitate, to copy or mimic someone or something. He tried to imitate his favorite actor's accent. Imitation, the act of copying or replicating something. The artwork was in imitation of a famous painting. Immerse, to submerge or involve deeply in an activity or situation. She liked to immerse herself in books. Immigrant, a person who moves to another country to live. The city is home to a diverse community of immigrants. Immigrate, to move to another country to live permanently. They decided to immigrate to Canada for a better life. Imminent, about to happen, forthcoming. The storm's imminent arrival forced them to take shelter. Impair, to weaken or damage something, especially a function. Lack of sleep can impair cognitive function. Impart, to communicate or pass on information or a quality. The teacher sought to impart knowledge to her students. Impede, to hinder or obstruct the progress of something. The heavy traffic impeded their journey. Imperative, of vital importance, crucial. It is imperative to address climate change. Imperial, relating to an empire or its ruler. The palace displayed a collection of imperial artifacts. Impetus, a force or motivation that causes action. The success of the project provided the impetus for expansion. Implement, to put a plan or decision into effect. They will implement new safety measures. Implicate, to show someone's involvement in a crime or wrongdoing. The evidence did not directly implicate the suspect. Implicit, implied though not plainly expressed. The agreement had implicit terms and conditions. Imply, to suggest or convey indirectly. Her smile seemed to imply approval. Impose, to establish or apply a rule, tax, or obligation. The government may impose new regulations. Imposing, grand or impressive in appearance. The imposing castle stood on the hill. Impromptu, done without preparation, on the spot. He gave an impromptu speech at the event. Improvisus, to create or perform spontaneously. The musician likes to improvise during live performances. Inapt, unsuitable or inappropriate for a particular purpose. His comment was inapt for the formal occasion. Inaugurate, to formally begin or introduce something. They will inaugurate the new museum with a ceremony. Incentive, something that encourages or motivates action. The bonus served as an incentive for employees. Incidence, the frequency or occurrence of something. The incidence of flu cases increased in winter. Incidentally, by the way, as a side note, incidentally, I'll be traveling to Paris next week. Incipient, in an early stage, just beginning to emerge. The incipient signs of spring were visible. Incite, to encourage or provoke a specific action. His speech was meant to incite social change. Inclination, a tendency or preference for something. Her inclination is to pursue a career in art. Incline, to lean or slope in a particular direction. The road began to incline steeply. Inclusive, including all or everything. The conference is open to an inclusive audience. Incongruous, not in harmony or consistent with surroundings. His loud laughter was incongruous in the library. Incorporate, to include or integrate something into a larger whole. They decided to incorporate new ideas into the project. Increment, a small increase or addition. He received a salary increment after his promotion. Incur, to become subject to or bring upon oneself. He will incur penalties for late payment. Indefinite, not fixed or limited, without a clear end. The meeting's duration is indefinite. Indelible, impossible to remove or forget. The memory left an indelible mark on her. Indemnity, protection against financial loss or damage. The insurance provides indemnity in case of accidents. Index, an alphabetical list of topics at the end of a book. You can find the indicator, a sign or signal that shows the state of something. The temperature gauge is an indicator of engine health. Indifferent, having no particular interest or sympathy. She was indifferent to the outcome of the game. Indigenous, native to a particular region or environment. The indigenous people have lived here for centuries. Indignant, feeling anger or annoyance at unfair treatment. She was indignant about the unfair decision. Indispensable, absolutely necessary, essential. Water is indispensable for survival. Induce, to persuade or influence someone to do something. They tried to induce him to join their team. Indulge, to allow oneself to enjoy something. She decided to indulge in a spa day. Inept, lacking skill or ability, clumsy. His inept handling of the situation only made it worse. Inert, lacking the ability to move or act. The dormant volcano appeared inert. Infant, a very young child or baby. The infant slept peacefully in the crib. Infect, to contaminate with a disease-causing organism. Poor hygiene can infect others with illnesses. Infectious, capable of spreading disease to others. The flu is highly infectious. Infer, to deduce or conclude from evidence or reasoning. From his expression, I could infer that he was unhappy. Inference, a conclusion reached through reasoning. Her inference was based on careful analysis. Inferior, lower in quality, rank, or status. The generic brand is often seen as inferior to the original. Infest, to overrun or inhabit in large numbers. The kitchen was infested with ants. Infinite, without limits or boundaries, endless. The universe is thought to be infinite in size. Infirmary, a place in a school or institution for treating the sick. The school infirmary is staffed by a nurse. Inflation, the increase in prices and decrease in the purchasing power of money. High inflation can erode savings. Inflict, to cause suffering or harm upon someone. The accident inflicted serious injuries. Influx, a sudden and large arrival of people or things. The influx of tourists boosted the local economy. Infrastructure, the basic physical and organizational structures needed for society to function. Roads and bridges are part of a country's infrastructure. Infringe, to violate or break a law or rule. Parking here would infringe on city regulations. Ingredient, a component or element in a mixture or recipe. The secret ingredient gave the dish its unique flavor. Inhabitant, a person or animal that lives in a particular place. The inhabitants of the village were friendly. Inherent, existing as a natural or essential part of something. Curiosity is inherent in human nature. Inhibit, to restrain, hinder, or prevent something from happening. Fear can inhibit a person's ability to take risks. Initial, existing or occurring at the beginning. The initial phase of the project is crucial. Initiate, to start or begin a process or action. She will initiate the discussion on the new project. Initiative, the ability to take action independently. Showing initiative is important in the workplace. Inject, to introduce a substance into something using a syringe. The nurse will inject the vaccine into your arm. Injure, to cause physical harm or damage. He fell and injured his ankle. Inland, located away from the coast or shoreline. The city is inland and not near the ocean. Innovate, to introduce new ideas, methods, or products. The company strives to innovate in the tech industry. Innovation, the introduction of new ideas, methods, or products. This product is an innovation in the field of medicine. Innumerable, too many to be counted, countless. There are innumerable stars in the night sky. Inquire, to ask for information or seek answers. She called to inquire about the job opening. Insert, to place something into a space or opening. Please insert your card into the slot. Insight, a deep understanding or perception of a situation. His insight into human behavior was remarkable. Insipid, lacking flavor or interest, dull. The meal was insipid and lacked seasoning. Insolent, disrespectful and rude in behavior or speech. His insolent remarks offended everyone. Insolvent, unable to pay debts or meet financial obligations. The company declared itself insolvent. Inspect, to examine something carefully for flaws or issues. The inspector will inspect the building for safety. Inspection, the act of examining something closely. The car passed the inspection without any problems. Inspire, to fill someone with the desire or ability to do something. Her courage and determination inspired others. Inspiring, having the ability to inspire or motivate. The speech was truly inspiring. Installment, a part of a larger payment or plan. They paid for the furniture in monthly installments. Instantaneous, happening in an instant, immediate. The results were available instantaneously. Institute, to establish or set up an organization or system. They decided to institute new safety measures. Instruct, to give information or guidance to someone. The coach will instruct the team on strategy. Instrument, a tool or device used for a particular purpose. The piano is a musical instrument. Insulate, to protect or isolate something by using a material that prevents the transfer of heat or electricity. Proper insulation can reduce energy costs. Insure, to provide financial protection against potential loss or damage. They insured their home against fire and theft. Intact, unbroken, undamaged, whole. The ancient artifact was found intact. Integral, essential or necessary for completeness. Good communication is integral to a healthy relationship. Integrate, to combine or bring together into a unified whole. The company aims to integrate new technologies. Intellect, the capacity for rational thought and understanding. Her intellect and knowledge were impressive. Intellectual, relating to the capacity for thought and reason. He enjoyed engaging in intellectual discussions. Intelligible, capable of being understood, clear. His explanation was not intelligible to most people. Intensify, to make something more intense or stronger. The competition will intensify in the final round. Interact, to communicate or work together with others. Social media allows people to interact online. Interim, temporary or in the meantime. She served as the interim CEO during the transition. Interior, the inside part of something, often a building. The interior of the house was beautifully decorated. Intermediate, existing or occurring between two stages or points. The intermediate level requires some prior knowledge. Intermittent, occurring at irregular intervals, not continuous. The intermittent rain showers lasted all day. Interpret, to explain the meaning of something. She will interpret the results of the study. Intersection, the point at which two or more roads meet or cross. Be cautious when driving through the intersection. Interval, a period of time between events or actions. There is a short interval between the acts of the play. Intervene, to come between and prevent or alter a course of events. The teacher had to intervene to stop the fight. Intimidate, to make someone feel afraid or threatened. His aggressive behavior was meant to intimidate others. Intricate, complicated or detailed, having many parts. The design of the clock was intricate and beautiful. Intrigue, to arouse curiosity or interest by mysterious or unusual qualities. The novel's plot intrigued readers. Intrinsic, belonging naturally, inherent. Her intrinsic talent for music was evident from a young age. Intuition, the ability to understand or know something. Without the need for conscious reasoning, her intuition told her not to trust the stranger. Inundate, to overwhelm with a large amount of something. The news reports will inundate the airwaves. Invade, to enter a place or situation aggressively or unlawfully. The army decided to invade the enemy's territory. Invalid, not valid or legally binding. The contract became invalid after the deadline passed. Invaluable, extremely valuable or precious. Her advice has been invaluable to me. Invariably, always, without changing. He invariably arrives late to meetings. Inventory, a complete list of items or goods in stock. The store manager conducted an inventory count. Invert, to turn something upside down or reverse its position. She decided to invert the cake onto a plate. Invest, to put money or resources into a project or venture. They plan to invest in renewable energy. Invigilate, to supervise or watch over an exam or test. The teacher will invigilate the final exam. Invincible, impossible to defeat or overcome. The champion boxer seemed invincible in the ring. Invoice, a document requesting payment for goods or services. The company sent an invoice for the products delivered. Invoke, to call upon a higher power or authority for help. She decided to invoke the spirits for guidance. Irrespective, regardless of, without regard to. Irrespective of the weather, the event will take place. Irritate, to annoy or provoke someone to anger. The constant noise began to irritate him. Isle, a small island, especially one in a river or lake. They spent their vacation on a remote isle. Isolate, to separate or set apart from others. They decided to isolate themselves from society for a year. Itinerary, a planned route or schedule of activities. The travel itinerary includes stops in 3 countries. Ivory, a hard, creamy white material from elephant tusks. Ivory carvings are considered works of art. Jagged, having rough, sharp, or uneven edges or surfaces. The jagged rocks posed a danger to hikers. Janitor, a person employed to clean and maintain a building. The janitor keeps the school premises clean. Jeer, to mock or taunt someone with scornful remarks. The audience began to jeer at the comedian's jokes. Jeopardize, to put something or someone at risk or in danger. Reckless driving can jeopardize lives. Jog, to run at a slow and steady pace for exercise. She likes to jog in the park every morning. Jolt, to give a sudden, strong, and unexpected shock or shake. The rough road jolted the passengers in the car. Journalist, a person who gathers and reports news for the media. The journalist interviewed witnesses at the scene. Judicial, related to the legal system, courts, or judges. The judicial branch interprets and enforces laws. Jumble, a disorganized or mixed-up collection of things. The jumble of wires made it hard to find the problem. Junction, a point where 2 or more things are joined or meet. The highway junction leads to different destinations. Justification, a reason or explanation that justifies an action. He provided a valid justification for his absence. Juvenile, relating to young people or young animals. The juvenile delinquency rate has decreased. Keen, having a strong interest or sharp perception. She has a keen eye for detail. Kernel, the central or essential part of something. The kernel of the idea is quite innovative. Kink, a twist or curl in something that is usually straight. She had to straighten out the kink in the hose. Kindle, to ignite or start a fire, to arouse a feeling. She used a match to kindle the campfire. Knit, to make fabric by interlocking loops of yarn with needles. She learned to knit scarves and sweaters. Knob, a rounded handle or projection on a surface. He turned the knob to open the door. Endeavor, laborious, to make a determined requiring a lot of effort and hard work. They will endeavor to complete the project was a laborious task. Labor, work, especially hard physical work. Farming is a form of manual labor. Lace, a delicate fabric made of interwoven threads. Her wedding dress was adorned with lace. Laden, heavily loaded or burdened with something. The truck was laden with crates of fruit. Lag, to fall behind or move slowly compared to others. The team began to lag behind in the race. Lament, to express grief, sorrow, or regret. The mourners gathered to lament their loss. Landscape, the visible features of an area of land. The landscape of the desert is vast and barren. Languid, lacking energy or vitality, sluggish. After a long day, she felt languid and tired. Lapse, a temporary failure or decline in performance. The lapse in concentration cost them the game. Latitude, the distance north or south from the equator. The city's latitude affects its climate. Laudable, deserving praise and admiration. Her charitable work is laudable. Lavish, expending or bestowing in great amounts. The wedding reception was a lavish affair. Lax, not strict or careless in enforcing rules. The lax security allowed unauthorized access. Layer, a sheet, quantity, or thickness of material. The cake had layer upon layer of frosting. Layman, a person who is not a professional in a particular field. The book is written in a way that laymen can understand. Layoff, the act of dismissing employees from their jobs. The company announced a series of layoffs. Layout, the arrangement of elements in a design or plan. The layout of the website is user-friendly. Legislate, to make or enact laws through a legislative body. The government will legislate new regulations. Legislation, laws or statutes created by a legislative body. The new legislation aims to protect the environment. Lenient, not strict or harsh in enforcing rules or punishments. The judge was lenient in sentencing the first-time offender. Lever, a rigid bar that pivots on a point to lift or move something. He used a lever to lift the heavy object. Levy, to impose or collect a tax, fee, or fine. The government may levy a tax on luxury goods. Liability, something that is a hindrance or responsibility. The debt was a significant liability for the company. Liable, legally responsible for something likely to happen. He is liable for the damages caused by his actions. Liaison, a person who acts as a link or intermediary. The liaison between the two companies facilitated negotiations. Liberal, open to new ideas, generous or broad-minded. She has a liberal attitude toward social issues. License, permission, or a legal document granting permission. You need a license to drive a car. Likelihood, the probability or chance of something happening. There is a high likelihood of rain tomorrow. Likewise, in the same way, similarly, she enjoyed the movie, and her friend did likewise. Limp, to walk with a dragging or uneven gait. He limped after twisting his ankle. Linger, to stay in a place longer than necessary. They lingered at the park until sunset. Literacy, the ability to read and write. Literacy rates have improved in recent years. Literature, written works, especially those considered as art. Classic literature often explores deep themes. Litter, trash or waste that is scattered in an untidy manner. He picked up the litter in the park. Livestock, farm animals raised for food or other products. Cattle, sheep, and pigs are common livestock. Loaf, a portion of bread or other baked goods. She bought a fresh loaf of bread from the bakery. Loath, unwilling or reluctant to do something. He was loath to admit his mistake. Local, relating to or occurring in a particular area. The local news reported on community events. Locality, a specific place or location. The locality of the accident was investigated by the police. Lodging, accommodations or a place to stay. They booked lodging for their vacation. Lofty, imposing or elevated in height, noble or high-reaching. The mountain had a lofty peak. Loll, to recline or lounge in a relaxed manner. He decided to loll in the hammock all afternoon. Longitude, the distance east or west from the prime meridian. Longitude lines run from the North Pole to the South Pole. Loom, a machine used for weaving fabric. The textile factory had several large looms. Loth, unwilling or reluctant to do something. She was loth to leave her friends behind. Lottery, a game of chance in which prizes are awarded. Many people buy lottery tickets in hopes of winning. Lubricate, to apply a substance to reduce friction. He had to lubricate the gears to keep the machine running smoothly. Lucid, clear and easy to understand. Her explanation was lucid and concise. Lucrative, producing a great deal of profit. Real estate investment can be lucrative. Ludicrous, so absurd, incongruous, or exaggerated as to be laughable. The idea of flying to the moon on a bicycle is ludicrous. Lull, a temporary period of calm or quiet. The lull in the storm allowed them to go outside. Luminous, emitting or reflecting light, glowing. The stars were luminous in the night sky. Lump, a small, irregularly shaped mass or piece. There was a lump of sugar in her. Lunar, related to the moon or its characteristics. The lunar module landed on the moon's surface. Lure, to attract or entice someone or something. The bait was used to lure fish to the hook. Lurk, to stay hidden or remain in a concealed position. The cat likes to lurk in the bushes. Macintosh, a waterproof raincoat or jacket. He wore a Macintosh to stay dry in the rain. Madden, to make someone extremely angry or frustrated. The constant noise began to madden him. Magistrate, a civil officer with limited judicial authority. The magistrate presided over the small claims court. Magnanimous, generous and forgiving, especially toward a rival. She showed a magnanimous spirit by forgiving her enemy. Magnate, a person of great influence, power, or wealth. The business magnate owned several successful companies. Magnetic, having the property of attracting iron or steel. The magnetic field of the Earth points to the North Pole. Magnify, to make something appear larger or more important. The microscope can magnify small objects. Magnitude, the size, extent, or importance of something. The earthquake had a magnitude of 7.2 on the Richter scale. Maim, to injure someone severely, often causing permanent damage. The accident maimed his right hand. Maize, a cereal grain, corn. Maize is a staple food in many countries. Majestic, having impressive beauty or dignity. The majestic mountains towered over the landscape. Malignant, harmful or cancerous in nature. The doctor confirmed that the tumor was malignant. Malleable, capable of being shaped or molded easily. Clay is a malleable material for sculptors. Malnutrition, a condition caused by a lack of proper nutrition. Malnutrition is a serious issue in impoverished regions. Maltreat, to treat someone or something badly or abusively. Animal cruelty laws aim to prevent the maltreatment of pets. Mammal, a warm-blooded vertebrate with hair or fur. Humans are mammals, as are dogs and cats. Manacle, a metal shackle or restraint for the wrists. The prisoner was placed in manacles. Mandate, an official order or command. The government issued a mandate to wear masks in public places. Mandatory, required by law or rule, compulsory. Attendance at the safety training is mandatory. Maneuver, a planned movement or series of moves. The pilot executed a skillful maneuver during the dogfight. Mania, an intense enthusiasm or obsession for something. His mania for collecting rare coins knows no bounds. Manifest, to display or show a quality or feeling. His actions manifest his commitment to the cause. Manifold, many and varied, having many different forms. The manifold benefits of exercise include improved health. Mantle, a loose, sleeveless cloak or garment. She wrapped herself in a warm mantle. Manufacture, to make goods or products on a large scale. The factory manufactures cars. Manure, organic material used to fertilize soil. Farmers use manure to enrich the soil. Manuscript, a handwritten or typed document or book. The author submitted the manuscript to the publisher. Marble, a type of hard, polished stone used in sculptures. The statue was carved from white marble. Margin, the border or edge of a page or area. She wrote notes in the margin of her textbook. Marital, relating to marriage or the state of being married. They sought marital counseling to improve their relationship. Maritime, relating to the sea or navigation on it. The coastal city has a strong maritime industry. Martial, relating to or suited for war or armed forces. Martial law was declared during the crisis. Martyr, a person. Marvel, a wonderful or astonishing thing. The Grand Canyon is a natural marvel. Masculine, having qualities traditionally associated with men. Confidence is often seen as a masculine trait. Massacre, the brutal and indiscriminate killing of a large number of people. The massacre of innocent civilians shocked the world. Masterpiece, a work of outstanding artistry or skill. The painting is considered a masterpiece of the Renaissance. Maternal, relating to or characteristic of a mother. Her maternal instincts kicked in when she saw the baby. Matrimony, the state of being married, marriage. They celebrated their matrimony with a grand wedding. Maximize, to make as large or great as possible. They wanted to maximize their profits. Meadow, a piece of grassland suitable for grazing. The cows grazed in the meadow. Meager, lacking in quantity or quality, inadequate. The meager portions of food left them hungry. Mechanism, a system or device that performs a function. The clock's mechanism keeps accurate time. Meddle, to interfere in someone else's business or affairs. It's best not to meddle in their relationship. Mediate, to intervene in a dispute to bring about a resolution. The diplomat mediated the peace talks. Medieval, relating to the Middle Ages in European history. Castles are often associated with medieval times. Mediocre, of only moderate quality, not very good. The film received mediocre reviews from critics. Meditate, to engage in contemplation or reflection. She meditates to find inner peace. Meek, quiet, gentle, and easily imposed upon. He had a meek personality and rarely spoke up. Melancholy, a feeling of deep sadness or sorrow. The rainy weather brought a sense of melancholy. Melodious, pleasant-sounding, musical. Her melodious voice filled the room with joy. Melody, a sequence of musical notes that form a tune. The melody of the song was catchy. Menace, a threat or danger. The dark clouds were a menace, indicating an approaching storm. Mendicant, a beggar or someone who lives by asking for charity. The mendicant asked for spare change on the street corner. Mentor, an experienced and trusted advisor or teacher. She sought a mentor to guide her career. Merchandise, goods or products available for sale. The store offers a wide range of merchandise. Merge, to combine or blend two or more things. The two companies decided to merge for greater efficiency. Merit, the quality of being deserving of praise or reward. His hard work and dedication earned him merit. Mesh, to fit or be interlocked with something. The gears meshed perfectly, allowing the machine to function. Metabolism, the chemical processes in the body that produce energy. Some people have a faster metabolism than others. Metallic, relating to or resembling metal in appearance or sound. The metallic clanging of hammers echoed in the workshop. Metaphor, a figure of speech that makes a comparison. Time is money is a common metaphor. Meteorology, the scientific study of the Earth's atmosphere. Meteorology helps predict weather patterns. Meticulous, showing great attention to detail, thorough. The artist was meticulous in every brush stroke. Metric, relating to or based on the metric system of measurement. The metric system uses meters and grams for measurement. Metropolitan, related to a large city and its surrounding areas. New York City is a metropolitan area with millions of residents. Microbe, a microscopic organism, especially one that causes disease. Microbes can be found everywhere. Some are harmful, and others are beneficial. Microcosm, a small-scale representation of a larger system or world. The classroom is a microcosm of society with diverse personalities. Microfilm, a photographic film with reduced-size images. Old newspapers are often stored on microfilm for preservation. Migrate, to move from one region or habitat to another. Birds migrate south for the winter. Mildew, a type of fungus that grows in damp conditions. The bathroom tiles had mildew due to poor ventilation. Militant, favoring confrontational or aggressive methods. The militant group staged protests for political change. Millennium, a period of 1,000 years. The year 2000 marked the beginning of a new millennium. Mimic, to imitate or copy the actions, speech, or appearance of someone or something. Parrots are known for their ability to mimic human speech. Mingle, to mix or combine different elements. At the party, people from different cultures mingled and had a great time. Minimal, of the smallest possible amount or degree. The minimalist design featured clean lines and a simple color palette. Minimize, to reduce to the smallest possible amount or degree. The company aimed to minimize its environmental impact. Ministry, a department or division of government, or a religious organization. The Ministry of Education oversees schools and educational policies. Minority, a smaller number or part within a larger group. In that country, the minority population has specific rights. Mirage, an optical illusion caused by atmospheric conditions. The shimmering water in the desert was a mirage. Mire, a stretch of swampy or boggy ground. The hiker got stuck in the mire and had difficulty moving. Misappropriate, to use something dishonestly for one's own gain. The employee was fired for misappropriating company funds. Mischance, bad luck or an unfortunate accident. The team faced mischance after a series of injuries. Mischief, behavior that causes annoyance, harm, or trouble. The children got into mischief while playing in the yard. Misconceive, to have a mistaken or incorrect idea about something. Don't misconceive her intentions, she's trying to help. Misdeed, a wrongful or illegal act. He confessed to his misdeeds and sought forgiveness. Misfortune, bad luck or unfortunate circumstances. Despite her misfortunes, she remained hopeful. Misgiving, a feeling of doubt or apprehension about something. She had misgivings about accepting the job offer. Misguided, led or prompted by a mistaken or wrong idea. Their misguided efforts only made the situation worse. Mishap, an unlucky accident or unfortunate event. The mishap on the highway caused a traffic jam. Misrepresent, to give a false or misleading account of something. The advertisement misrepresented the product's benefits. Missile, a projectile designed to be fired or launched. The missile was launched from a military base. Misuse, to use something inappropriately or wrongly. Misuse of company resources can result in disciplinary action. Mitigate, to make something less severe or painful. The doctor prescribed medication to mitigate the pain. Mobile, capable of moving or being moved easily. The mobile cart made it convenient to transport equipment. Mobilize, to prepare or organize resources for action or use. The government had to mobilize emergency response teams. Mode, a particular way or manner of doing something. The mode of transportation chosen was a bicycle. Moderate, not too much or too little, reasonable. She followed a moderate exercise routine for fitness. Modest, having or showing a moderate or humble opinion of oneself. Despite his success, he remained a modest person. Modify, to make changes or alterations to something. You can modify the settings to suit your preferences. Moist, slightly wet or damp. The cake was deliciously moist. Molecule, the smallest unit of a chemical compound. Water is made up of two hydrogen molecules and one oxygen molecule. Molest, to harass, harm, or sexually abuse someone. The school took strict measures to prevent child molestation. Momentous, of great importance or significance. The signing of the peace treaty was a momentous occasion. Momentum, the force or speed of movement of an object. The car gained momentum as it rolled downhill. Monarchy, a form of government with a single ruler. Often a king or queen. England has a constitutional monarchy. Monetary, relating to money or currency. The central bank is responsible for monetary policy. Monologue, a long speech by one person during a conversation. Or performance, the actor delivered a powerful monologue in the play. Monopoly, the exclusive control or possession of something. The company had a monopoly on the market. Monotonous, dull, repetitive, and lacking in variety. The monotonous hum of the engine put him to sleep. Monsoon, a seasonal wind that brings heavy rainfall. The monsoon season can cause flooding in some regions. Monstrous, extremely large, ugly, or frightening. The sea monster was described as monstrous in size. Moped, a small motorized bicycle. He commuted to work on a moped to save on gas. Morality, principles of right and wrong behavior. Ethics and morality are important in decision-making. Morbid, relating to a fascination with gruesome or disturbing subjects. Her morbid curiosity led her to study forensic science. Moreover, besides, in addition to what has been said, the food was delicious, and moreover, the service was excellent. Mortgage, a loan secured by a property or real estate. They took out a mortgage to buy their dream home. Motif, a recurring theme, pattern, or design. The motif of flowers was evident in the artwork. Motivate, to provide a reason or incentive to do something. The promise of a promotion motivated him to work harder. Motto, a brief statement expressing the guiding principle of a person or organization. The company's motto is quality and excellence. Mold, a hollow form or matrix into which a substance is poured. The chef used a mold to shape the chocolate. Mourn, to express sorrow or grief over a loss. The family gathered to mourn the passing of their loved one. Mustache, facial hair that grows above the upper lip. He decided to grow a mustache for November. Mucus, relating to or resembling mucus. A runny nose is a symptom of mucus buildup. Muddle, to confuse or jumble things up. His disorganized notes muddled his understanding of the topic. Multilateral, involving or participated in by more than two countries or parties. The treaty was a multilateral agreement signed by several nations. Multiply, to increase in number or quantity. When you multiply 6 by 4, you get 24. Multitude, a large number of people or things. A multitude of stars could be seen in the night sky. Mundane, ordinary, everyday, or lacking excitement. His job involved many mundane tasks, like data entry. Municipal, relating to a city or local government. Municipal elections determine local leadership. Murmur, a soft, indistinct, or continuous sound. The murmurs of the stream were soothing. Muscular, having well-developed muscles. Bodybuilders have muscular physiques. Mushroom, a type of fungus with a stem and cap. Some mushrooms are edible, while others are poisonous. Mustard, a pungent, yellowish-brown condiment made from mustard seeds. Mustard is often used as a topping for hot dogs. Muster, to gather or assemble a group of people or things. The captain mustered the crew for a meeting. Mutation, a change or alteration in genetic material. Genetic mutations can lead to new traits in organisms. Myriad, a countless or extremely great number. The artist used a myriad of colors in the painting. Myth, a traditional story or legend, often explaining natural phenomena. Greek mythology includes tales of gods and heroes. Mythology, the collection of myths of a particular culture or religion. Norse mythology features gods like Odin and Thor. Namely, specifically, especially as something worth mentioning. There are many fruits in the garden, namely apples, oranges, and bananas. Narcotic, a drug or substance that induces sleep or dulls the senses. Some painkillers contain narcotic ingredients. Narrative, a story or account of events, often in a chronological order. The novel had a captivating narrative. Natal, related to birth or the time of birth. The baby's Natal Day was celebrated with a party. Nausea, the feeling of sickness and the urge to vomit. The rough sea caused severe nausea for some passengers. Nautical, related to ships, navigation, or the sea. Nautical charts are used for safe sea travel. Naval, pertaining to a navy or the armed forces at sea. The naval fleet was prepared for deployment. Navigable, capable of being navigated or traveled through. The river was navigable by small boats. Navigation, the process of planning and controlling the movement of a vessel or vehicle. GPS systems assist in navigation while driving. Necessitate, to require or make necessary. The complex task necessitated careful planning. Negate, to nullify or deny the existence or truth of something. His apology negated the need for further discussion. Negation, the act of negating or denying. The negation of the proposal led to disappointment. Neglect, failure to take proper care of something or someone. The neglect of maintenance led to the building's deterioration. Negligence, lack of proper care or attention, often resulting in harm. Medical negligence can have serious consequences. Negligible, so small or insignificant that it doesn't matter. The price difference was negligible. Negotiable, open to discussion or bargaining. The terms of the contract are negotiable. Neurotic, suffering from excessive anxiety or emotional instability. Her neurotic behavior was a result of stress. Neutral, not taking sides, unbiased or impartial. The mediator remained neutral during the dispute. Neutralize, to counteract or nullify the effect of something. Adding a base can neutralize an acid. Nevertheless, in spite of that, however, it was raining. Nevertheless, they decided to go for a hike. Nibble, to take small, cautious bites or tastes of something. She liked to nibble on chocolate while reading. Nicety, a fine or subtle detail, a small detail that is important. The niceties of table manners are important during formal dinners. Nil, nothing, zero. His chances of winning were reduced to nil. Nitrogen, a chemical element and found in the Earth's atmosphere. Nitrogen is essential for plant growth. Nobility, a social class characterized by high birth or rank. The nobility lived in grand castles. Nominal, in name only, not significant in reality. He held the nominal title of manager but had little authority.